Now, I will have to say at this point, deviating from my script, that in the spirit of disclosure which now permeates the corporate world, I have a tally here from yesterday as to the number of votes each director has received. And I won't give the affirmative votes, but the total basically negative votes, it's a withhold vote. Charlie and I and Howie came in last by a significant margin. Susie did the best. She only had 1,000 votes against her, but Charlie and I had 16,000 some votes against us. So I really suspect that Susie voted against us so that she could lead the ticket, but who knows? There are just a few special guests that I would like to recognize, and because of the crowd, I've not had an opportunity to make sure all of these special guests are here, but we will find out here shortly. The first guest, and I hope very much he's here. He was planning to be here. It was let's see, 48 years ago, this July or so, about June, I got a letter from Ben Graham, who I'd been pestering for a job for about 3 years and getting no place. And Ben said, next time you're in New York, come in and talk to me. So I was there about 10 hours later. I didn't have a NetJets plane then, so it took a little longer. And I went in to see Ben, and he offered me a job. And I took it on the spot. I didn't ask what the salary was or anything else. And a month or two later, the family joined me. I had my daughter was already born, and Susie was pregnant with Howie, and we moved back there, and I went to work for Graham Newman Corp. And one of my three bosses, I had three bosses, Ben Graham, Jerry Newman, and Mickey Newman. And Mickey was exactly 10 years older than I was at that time, and he's exactly 10 years older now. And Mickey was a major factor in a hugely successful, he ran the place, company that was not quite that successful yet in 1954 when I went back there, the Philadelphia and Reading Coal and Iron Company, as it was called then. And after I'd been there maybe a year, Mickey was in charge of Philadelphia and Reading, and a fellow named Jack Goldfarb came into the office, and I really didn't know what was going on. I had a good bit of my net worth in Philadelphia and Reading, so I was interested. But Jack Goldfarb and Mickey were behind closed doors largely. But when they emerged, the Philadelphia and Reading Company, which was controlled by Graham Newman, had bought Union Underwear, which was the manufacturer of Fruit of the Loom product under a license at that time. And as I told in the annual report, it was a very, very attractive buy, and Mickey made a number of good buys. And when Mickey and I have talked and seen each other over the years, some not a lot, but we would see each other. And when Fruit of the Loom entered bankruptcy a few years ago, Mickey called me and sort of said, what are you going to do about it? You should do something. And he was very helpful, particularly helpful in introducing me to John Holland, who runs Fruit of the Loom and who's a tremendous asset to the company. And Mickey gave me lots of insights on that. And when I got discouraged with the bankruptcy procedure, and it is discouraging to try and buy a company out of bankruptcy, Mickey would gently prod me along. And so I believe today we have with us Mickey Newman and his son, who I last saw when he was a little red-headed kid, Bill. And Mickey and Bill, if you're here, if you'd stand up, it'd be great. Now let's see if they made it. There they are. Let's have a spotlight on them. I can't see very well from here whether Bill's still red-headed, but Mickey is 81, believe it or not. You won't believe it if you meet him, and he's been a tremendous help and a great friend over the years. And he accomplished much for us in the past year. I don't think we would have Fruit of the Loom if it hadn't been for Mickey particularly nudging me along as we went through the process. I also hope we have today with us, and I didn't get a chance to see them before the meeting, but are Ralph and Lucy Shea here? Ralph and Lucy, were they able to make it or not? Yeah, there they are. Ralph is in the Berkshire Hathaway Hall of Fame. I mean, this is like being at Cooperstown, and introducing Bob Gibson or Sandy Koufax. And Ralph, for a great many years, added tremendous value to Berkshire at Scott and Fetzer. We wouldn't be able to buy some of the things like Fruit of the Loom if it hadn't been for the profits developed under Ralph's management at Scott Fetzer. So I'm delighted that he and Lucy can join us. I believe, and I hope we have Larry and Dolores Brandon. Are they here? Could be. Joe, there they are. Let's have a spotlight on them. Dolores is also known as Dutchie, but we call her Saint Dutchie at Berkshire headquarters because she gave birth some years ago to Joe Brandon, and Joe has been doing a fabulous job for us at General Re. He took over early in September. It's really going to be our number one asset. There's been a lot happen since those days in September when Joe took over. I think you're going to see some terrific results throughout our insurance business, but particularly at General Re. I wrote Dutchie a letter, and I said, it's terrific what you've done for us, but I was a little like the farmer that went into the hen house, and I pulled out an ostrich egg and said to the hens, that I don't like to complain, but this is just a sample of what the competition's doing. Well, I berated her a little bit for not having twins, because if she just had a twin for Joe, I mean, we'd own the world. But she tells me that she wrote me back and said she really had done her best. I mean, she'd had 7 children, 5 of whom are in the insurance business, and she has 19 grandchildren. So we have people out on the road trying to sign up these grandchildren now. And if you get a chance, tell her productive years are not over. And finally, we have with us today the fellow who put together that terrific cartoon. Anybody that can even takes on the job of making me look like James Bond is a very brave person. And Andy Hayward has a company called Deke Entertainment, which is a leading producer of children's programming. When you turn on the television on Saturday morning, you will be seeing his output. And Andy puts this product together. He sends people to Omaha. He does it all. It's his script. It's his production. He does it on his own time, on his own nickel. It's his contribution to the Berkshire meeting. And it's absolutely fabulous. And I have to tell you that this fall, Andy is going to have a series of 40 episodes that are called, I think it's called Liberty's Kids. It will be on public broadcasting at 4:30, 5 days a week, and it's really the story of America. It's told, Charlie will like this. Charlie doesn't know about this. It will be told through the eyes of 3 young apprentices in Ben Franklin's print shop. And it will view the evolving of the American democracy and the Constitution, and all with Andy's creative characters, but it will use the voices of various other people, and I'm flattered. I get to be James Madison in this, and we have Sylvester Stallone, we have Billy Crystal, we have Whoopi Goldberg, and Charlie will be crushed to find, I think it's Walter Cronkite is going to be Ben Franklin. I mean, I think Charlie held out for too much money or something in this. but it's going to be a fabulous series. I mean, I am looking forward to this. It'll run all this year, starting in the fall, and then it will run again the following year, and it will be a great, great piece for American children and American adults. I plan on watching it myself, and it will just be the story of how this country came about through the eyes of these three young apprentices of Ben Franklin. So Andy is here with his son Michael, and if Andy and Michael would stand up, I'd like to give them a hand myself.